Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. I just want to say that there is no coach in college basketball that is better when they have a big man that knows how to seal, how to use his ass, how to get people out of position, how to duck in, and how to basically just turn and score.
Yeah.
No one's better in college basketball at developing players like that than Bill Self. And there's no big man outside of probably Zach Edey in college basketball that is better than kind of getting position, turning, and scoring over his right shoulder than Hunter Dickinson is. I think it's a match made in heaven. I said this on a stream earlier. I think he's going to average like 22 and 12 for Kansas this year. I think that they are at this point, assuming they get Mbopko, right? I think that you have to put them in that same category as Duke, Michigan State.
I got him number one.
UConn.
I just moved him to number one, Rob.
Kansas to number one?
Yeah. You know what? Like, Duke's really good, but now you just look at Kansas and you're like, all right, they got the best big in the country. They have the best point guard that you trust in the country, as long as he's got enough around him. You have a shooter in Timberlake. KJ Adams is really good as a piece, right? Like, he doesn't need to score that much now. And he can step out, like he could pass. And Arterio Morris, like El Marco. Yeah, I got him at one right. And the differentiator.
I'm not ready to go that far.
Well, here's why. It's close, Rob. And no disrespect to John Shire, but he's not Bill Self.
No, I agree. I just think that there's more
to do.
I don't think that you're wrong for having Kansas. Number one, I think that to me, it's a coin flip. You can go either way. I probably would still have Duke, and that's a lot of that is because I kind of believe that Tyrese Proctor is going to end up being the best point guard in college basketball next year.
He might be.
And then Kyle Filipowski might end up being like, well, he's probably not preseason national player of the year if Hunter Dickinson is playing for Bill Self, but he's right there in that conversation. So, who plays the Champions Classic next year? Do we get Duke, Kansas? Is that happening?
It is. No, I think it's Duke, Kentucky.
Oh man,
I think it's Duke, Kentucky.
Who do we have to petition? Do I have to call Charlie Baker? Do I have to get him on the phone? Who do I have to call at ESPN to get that changed? We need Duke, Kansas.
Trust me, Charlie Baker ain't answering your phone call.
Yeah, I don't think that. There's a lot of people that aren't answering my calls.
Charlie Baker. Who? Who?
All right. Before we do want to talk about Jaden Bradley a little bit, and I do want to talk about Max Abmas and Ron Holland and some of the stuff happening at Texas, because we haven't gotten to that on one of these shows yet. Before we do, though, like, I think the biggest, now that he's committed, this is the talking point is Hunter at Kansas. But for the last 2 days, the talking point has been like, well, where is this commitment? Is this coming? How much attention does Hunter really need? Does he enjoy playing the villain? Does he realize he's making all these different fan bases dislike him? This, that, and the third. I, for one, think that he kind of thrives in that villain role. I think he likes it. I think he enjoys it. I think he plays into it. I think he's one of those guys that when he goes into a road game and fans are kind of cussing him out and booing him, but that gets him going. That helps him play a little bit better. I think we need a villain in college basketball. And I think that Hunter Dickinson is perfectly okay being the villain in college basketball. My question is,
he loves it.
Yeah, he does. My question is, at what point does it become too much? And how much does Bill Self really want to deal with some of the stuff going on outside the basketball court with Hunter? Because there's going to be stuff going on there.
Yeah, I think as long as it doesn't affect the team and his performance and his relationship with his players, Bill won't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Hunter's doing what he does on the court. And, listen, a lot of the coaches he was looking at, if you think about it, right, they're kind of big kids in a lot of ways, right? Bill Self, Calipari, Cooley, Willard. I don't know Kyle Neptune like that, but I assume he's got some shit to him here. So I think they all understand like what it was like to be a college kid. And obviously the world has changed here. The kid's doing a podcast.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
You know, in which he said some things that, again, I would have personally tried to protect him from. They didn't. He's okay with it. And I think, again, as long as he's playing at the highest level, those coaches aren't going to give a shit. As long as he doesn't say something that is, you know, over the top. But if he talks negatively about, you know, Baylor fans or, you know, Texas fans or whoever, like, it is what it is. It is what it is, as long as he backs it up, which he generally does.
Mm-hmm. Unless he's playing Arizona State in the Barclays Center.
That was a rough one.
that was a rough one.
Yes.
Yeah, there's issues beyond just what Hunter says on that pod that you're referring to, but we don't need to rehash all of that. I do think the one thing I have found funny is how all of these fans are replying like, "Oh, Kansas just dropped the biggest bag." Every one of the programs that was recruiting him could have dropped a massive bag
right.
that had
They're all
7
about
digits
even,
and probably had approaching a crooked number in front of it, right? 2 commas.
Well, now when you get beat, I've said this, Rob. Now when you get beat, it's they offered more money. They offered more. We couldn't compete with their NIL. In the old days, it was, you know, they offered a bigger bag. Now it's just, you know, again, it's some of it may be true.
Here's the thing that drives me insane. Like, let's pretend that there's a fan that works for Chase Bank, right? And he's making $200,000 a year working for Chase Bank. And then Citizens Bank comes in and says, you know what? If you come here, we're going to pay you $300,000 a year. Are you taking that job?
I am.
I'm taking that job. I'm going where I can get the biggest paycheck. Like, I get that it's different with college basketballs and allegiances and student athletes and this, and you're supposed to, like, fans want them to play for you and they want you to reciprocate the appreciation you have for them. But at the end of the day, like, this is Hunter Dickinson's job. This is how he gets his paycheck. If you're going to hate on him for going to a place where he makes the most money, then you're.
But I don't think he did that. That's all
I was going to say. 1, you're being hypocritical, and 2, you have no idea how much, 1, Hunter is making, and 2, how much he would have made at these other programs. There's just no way to know. Like, just this idea that you have any idea what is actually, like, the amount of money that's actually changing hands is just, come on, what are we doing here? That's just
I'll
not how
say
this
this.
works.
Talking to Hunter again, I think he understood. Obviously, NIL is important because you're talking about a lot of money here that he may never make again, right? He knows that he may never make this much money again in his whole career, so it's important. But I think he also understood the value of, hey, listen, $100,000 at the end of the day, the difference, or a couple $100,000. When I'm talking about, if I can play in the league, and he knows he's not going to be a starter or a maiden, but if he can he make a team and be a reserve on an NBA team for 10 years? If that's the case, I mean, you're talking about, if that minimum, you know, second contract salary is at like $4-5 million a year. I mean, you're talking about he can make 30, 40, $50 million if he can make the right decision. And again, I just think playing with DeJuan Harris is the right decision here. That's what I would say is what's going to help his stock more than anything, right? It's running the court, it's finishing, it's not playing in the Big Ten anymore, getting the hell out of the Big Ten. We haven't talked about that. That's a good thing too. And then it's winning. Winning helps. And if he goes to a Final Four and wins a national title at Kansas and does what he's got to do and produces every single day, which he will for the most part, then who knows? And again, my advice to him would be, cut some of the nonsense. You want, if it motivates you to talk some shit before a game, whatever, I get it. but cut some of it out. And to me, I still think the NBA guys are looking at you and they don't want any reason not to take, like, you're a fringe guy anyway right now. So don't give them any more reasons not to take you. Instead, give them every reason to draft you.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.